New Darling Stadium in Hampton, Virginia, WHCS Channel 5 presents Peninsula District Football, the Hampton Crabbers and the Phoebus Phantoms. This game was videotaped October the 6th, 1990. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz. Welcome to Darling Stadium for tonight's clash between the first-place Hampton Crabbers and the first-place Phoebus Phantoms. That's right, both teams are tied for first in the Peninsula District with identical 4-0, 3-0 records, Bob.
And I tell you, it's unbelievable, but every year this game gets a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. Both undefeated. Whoever wins this game's got a good chance of winning the district. Phoebus is going in. They got 4 tough games in a row. They got Hampton, Bethel, Kecoughtan, and Warwick. Hampton is coming off a tough schedule. So, you know, this is a proving point for both of them. I know Bill D would love nothing better than to beat Hampton. And, of course, Hampton would love to keep its undefeated streak going.
The Hampton Crabbers 4-0, number 1 in the state. The Phoebus Phantoms, you might say they're kind of the Rodney Dangerfields of a Peninsula District. They don't get any respect. No votes.
No votes at all, and it may be because the people think that they have not played a real tough schedule. They played Manor, they've played Menchville, they played Gloucester, and they played Lafayette. So they've not played anybody that has scored a lot of points who have got many wins within those 4 teams. The defense has looked real good. Your offense has struggled sometimes. What are you going to do tonight against this Hampton team? It's got a pretty good defense.
Well, we're going to try to, do the things that we've been trying to do in the past games. We've been trying to run the wishbone and option football and just try to execute better. I think offense takes a couple of weeks to come around. Defense always is a little easier to put together, and this year we've played outstanding defense. Our kicking game's been real strong, and that's carried us the first 4 football games.
Well, that's one of the strong points you have. You have a good kicking game. I also was talking to a young man by the name of Kevin Giles last night. He's real excited about tonight's ball game.
Kevin's real excited about playing every weekend. Kevin is just an outstanding football player and just loves to play. And I'm sure he's going to go out and give it everything he has. He's just a great kid.
Let me ask you what you expect from Hampton tonight. I know by watching play Kecoughtan, they changed their defense a little. Do you think they're going to try to do that to you, make you try to pass the ball?
I think that possibly we'll see something with, like they ran against Kecoughtan, and I think we'll see some wide tackle also. I think they're going to do whatever they have to win, just like we will. They got to, always have a good game plan and try to use their personnel to their best advantage.
Well, I just want to tell you, from me, I think you've just done a fantastic job out there at Phoebus. You've really turned the program around. You've got a winning tradition going out there since Coach Bill D showed up, and continue success and good luck tonight.
Well, I appreciate that, Bob. Thanks a lot.
Well, of course, the Phoebus Phantoms and Bill D, he's very optimistic about his chances for tonight's game. How do you feel they're going to do against them?
Well, we are privileged to know there's going to be a little different quarterback tonight. Rather than Tom Bailey's not going to be quarterback, the Beckner kid will. And he runs the offense much better. He reads much better. And in the wishbone offense, you got to do your reads real well. And I think that may be the difference, but he doesn't pass as well. So we'll see what happens if Hampton moves their entire people up on the line of scrimmage like Bethel did last night, then he will force them to pass.
Okay, so the Phantoms have a real task at hand. The Hampton Crabbers have not given up a defensive touchdown. They had a touchdown scored against them, but it was by the specialty teams, and of course they want to keep that intact. Let's go back in time, and Bob had a chance to talk with Mike Smith, the head coach of the Hampton Crabbers.
Coach, congratulations on your perfect season so far.
Well, it's still early in the season, Bob, so it really doesn't mean too much at this point. I mean, you're always glad to be in that position, but I guess the next game's the only one that counts. That's not too far off.
No, that's in a few minutes. This is the 3rd team that you have faced that's been undefeated this year.
This is the 4th team we've faced been undefeated.
Well, I wasn't counting your first game because they hadn't played anybody.
They're still undefeated.
That's true.
So this is the 4th one, and we really expected that, we might run into this situation before the season started because we knew that Kecoughtan and Warwick and Phoebus were all returning some good athletes, good players, and all 3 of them had good programs last year, good teams. So we fully expected that the 3 out of these, after we get into it, that those 3 would be tough.
Right.
Coming in, and it's proven to be true. All of them's got excellent football teams.
Well, they really have, but it's really tested your young team. You've got a young team, and really didn't have much of a break. Maybe Lafayette was the only team that was an easy team, if you want to even say that they were easy. So it's really tested your young defense or young team overall.
You know, I don't think they were easy. They were just doing some things that we were able to take advantage of. They came back the next week, I think, beat Minchfield.
Right.
Worse than Warwick beat them last night. But you know, by this time of the year, you get into the 5th game or so, even the young teams start to become more veteran in nature. So we were. Yeah, it did test us. It's tested us. It's still testing us.
Well, I heard that Mr. Cherry was in a little bit of accident, broke some teeth or something.
No, I think he broke 4 off Monday morning on the way to school. You know, accident hit his mouth on the steering wheel. But
and he practiced that day?
Had root canals that day, and he was at practice. I mean, he's...
He one tough youngin', isn't he?
He's tougher than I am.
I don't think I could have made it out of bed.
I guess the guy had done a good job on the teeth, and maybe he didn't feel the pain until he got home. But he was there. He hadn't missed any practice.
Well, that's good.
But I know he's been uncomfortable. You know, he was then. I think it's all right now.
Right. And I want to ask you about Terry. On that very first play of last week on the first game, looked like he got his cleats caught or something. He twisted knee. What happened? I
really don't know. You know, I saw him go down. I thought he just slipped. I thought the grass the turf was loose. I thought maybe, you know, he just slipped, but apparently he's stretched a medial collateral ligament, and he's got some swelling in his knee with, you know, possible meniscus tear, but we're still waiting to do an arthrogram probably early this week to establish the real reason. He's still got some swelling in it, so he's been out this week, and of course he won't play.
Well, I didn't figure he would be out tonight because I had talked to Diane about it. But I just want to congratulate you on your fine season, and good luck to you tonight, Mike.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Good enough.
Of course, Mike Smith, the perennial champion coach, the Hampton Crabbers have either shared or won the Peninsula District since 1976. So they don't want to relinquish that, do they?
No, they sure don't. And it's an awesome to be able to do that, not just because it's Peninsula District, but because the Peninsula District has such powerhouses in football. You've got great teams in this Peninsula District, and if you can win it year after year after year, and you don't have outstanding stars, you have to build these people. Says a lot for your program, says a lot for your assistant coaches.
There's no question about that. We're going to be ready for the battle for first place, but first, this brief timeout. We'll be right back with the starting lineups for tonight's game.
Alternative viewing from WHCS TV 5.
Back at Darling Stadium, we invite you now to enjoy the Phoebus High School Marching Band and the playing of our national anthem and the alma mater from Phoebus High School. two teams are just about set to come on the field. In fact, the Hampton Crabbers, the visitors tonight, are in fact coming on the field on the far side. There you see them in the white uniforms with the black trim and the red helmets. And the Phoebus Phantoms, of course, are the home team tonight. All the Hampton City schools play their home games here at the, well, how much longer are we going to call it the new Darling Stadium?
We got to call it new for at least the rest of this year, because it is new. We didn't get this will be the first full season that we have played here, and it has really it's really a fantastic complex, and we really want to take our hats off to Larry Malloy and his crew. That field is in excellent condition, and we had a game here last night, and you can't tell them by walking on the field. Really is in good condition.
Yeah, Larry Malloy and his group do a great job of keeping this field in shape. There's no question about it. And we've got a good crowd on hand tonight, as we should when you have a battle for first place. There you see Mike Talon, one of our favorite coaches, the assistant coach to the boys' football team and the girls' head coach.
Well, this is the way I introduce Mike Talon. He coaches football, coaches basketball, he's a dean of boys, and he catches car thieves. I don't know if you saw in the paper, but there's a guy that had stole a car and was running through the Phoebus, behind Phoebus, and Mike and some of the football players cornered him. And can you imagine with these big guys? That man just stood there and waited for he couldn't wait for the cops to get there.
You were watching the Hampton side of the field, a good contingent on hand. The Phoebus Phantoms, of course, are undefeated, as we mentioned, 3-0 in the district, 4-0 overall. They have recorded 3 shutouts in those 4 victories, and they have only allowed 7 points themselves. You know, a lot is said about the potent defense of the Hampton Crabbers, and well, it should, but the Phoebus Phantoms have one of their own. Each of these teams comes in having shut out rather 3 of the 4 opponents, and of course the only points scored against the Hampton Crabbers came on a blocked punt in the Warwick game. So the Hampton Crabbers will be very anxious to keep their scoreless string intact.
They most certainly will. This is an exciting ball game for the fans, but it's a very important game for both teams. You have an undefeated season so far, and we're not quite halfway through the season. This is a very pivotal game for both of them. We have the officials with and there you see Mike Windley, who is the head official, walking out with the Phoebus.
That's Jack Windley, I believe.
Jack Windley, I'm sorry.
Let's see if we can identify the players from both squads. For the Crabbers, number 8 is Cassels, number 70 is John Cavanaugh, 54 is Anthony Cherry, and number 11 is Terry Connor. Let's listen in now to Jack Windley.
This is Captain from Phoebus. Shake hands, fellas. Okay, good enough. All right, we've already had a flip of the coin. Phoebus won, elected to receive at that end. Hampton is going to kick that way. Put your back down here, Blue. Receiving down here. Gentlemen, let's have a good, clean game. If we have a foul, I'll ask for the captains. Come immediately to me. And your choice, your first one is it. Good luck to you both.
If we get a chance, maybe we can flip the officials up on the screen and identify them.
Let me also identify the Phoebus players. Since I did the Hampton players, it would only seem fair that we do Chad Hopkins, 22 Maurice Turner, 33 is Kevin Giles. There you see the officials. Jack Windley, the referee. Don Hurst is the umpire. Tom Chisman is the linesman. Mike Tucci is the line judge. Doug Diggs is the back judge, and Paul Morris is the timekeeper. So we've got all of that taken care of. The game is about set to get underway. They battle for first place in the Peninsula District. The Warwick Raiders, incidentally, Friday night rebounded from that loss to Hampton and won their game, so they're staying in the thick of things at a 3-1 in the Peninsula District.
Well, in the next couple of weeks, you're going to see some changes. Phoebus has got a real tough schedule. They're going to play this Hampton team, then they have to play Bethel, Kickinton, and Warwick in the next 4 games. We will have all 4 of those games.
We get an opportunity to mention the coaching staffs. We don't want to forget them. We'll get to them in just a moment. Speaking of coaches, I see one of our favorite coaches, Coach Kozlowski, coming to sit next to us here.
Yeah, it's nice to have Koz. I want to ask him a couple questions here in just a second.
All right, we are set to go. John Stein has the ball in the air, and it's taken at the 14-yard line. And immediately at the 20-yard line, Chad Hopkins is drilled to the ground. And that's where Phoebus will set up 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line. There we see the offense for the Phantoms. Selby is the center, Jamerson and Little are the guards. The tackles are Howard and Shields. The tight end is Botemps. The split end is Barrett. Beckner will start at quarterback. Turner and Giles are the running backs, and Moore is the fullback. And we'll give you the Hampton defense momentarily. But for now, the Phoebus Phantoms come out with Kevin Beckner at quarterback. Hand off into the middle of the line. The ball is carried out close to the 25-yard line.
Well, that's a change. I'm sure the coaching staff over at Hampton thought maybe we'd get it. We have the Hampton defense. That's DeBrew and Tucker at guards. Burrell and Thompson are the tackles. Newsom and McCorkindale are the ends. The linebackers are Capehart, Cherry. The cornerbacks, Cassells and Connor. And Sean Hamlet is the safety. But this is a new start for Beckner. Tom Bailey has been starting, but this young man does a better job running the bone and has one of Coach Kozlowski's former quarterbacks helping him in Mike Tyndall. So he knows about the wishbone.
Maurice Turner carries close to a first down for the Phantoms. And in fact, it will be a first down, the initial first down of the ball game. 4 12-minute quarters in high school football. There are several other rule changes we'll get to as we go along. 10:50 remaining in the first quarter. No score, just underway. The Phantoms of Phoebus and the Crabbers of Hampton. That's Maurice Turner doing a good job of finding the hole and then an extra effort to get the first down.
Scotty, can you turn off the mic that I use on the field?
Again, into the middle of the line. This time the ball carrier was number 44, Chris Moore. And we understand that Mr. Kozlowski's mic is hot.
His mic is hot.
From last night, what do you expect?
35-yard line is where they've marked the ball. Gain of about 3. 2nd down and 7 for the Phantoms. Staying on the ground as you would expect they would. That's number 33, Kevin Giles, carrying. So we've seen three runs and 3 different runners as Turner, Giles, and Moore have carried for the Phantoms.
Well, Turner has been running at the halfback spot for, this is his 4th year as a starter as a freshman. But you was telling me earlier, Phoebus has not passed the ball often. There's a good shot of Coach Kozlowski.
Was that Koz in there? He'll get a chance to watch this again. Hampton defense stiffening. In on the stop, DeBrew, number 72. 3rd down and about 5 for the Phantoms. And we've got movement and we'll have flags. We'll have to wait and see who the infraction is on. Go ahead.
See, the defense can move just as long as they don't get into neutral zone, and the offense can't, and that's what happened that time. Coach Koz, we appreciate you stopping by and talking with us a little bit. Tell me a little bit about Rodney Bowens. We were concerned last night after he got hurt.
Well, you know, he had some tingling in his neck area, and, you know, you don't take any chances in that kind of situation. And I'd like to thank Dr. Green for coming down on the field and helping us out. And, of course, we were in a precautionary situation. We sent him to the hospital, and we found out that he may have had a pre-existing condition that might prevent him from playing football again. We're just going to have to wait until we get a second opinion.
Well, we're glad to hear that it's nothing serious.
All right, the 5-yard penalty is marked off. Makes it 3rd and 10. Beckner carries and will come up short of the first down as he'll get the ball out to about the 39-yard line. And we'll probably see the punting team coming on, and Beckner will just stay out there as he punts the ball.
Well, I tell you, they've got a strong kicking game, don't they, Koz?
Well, Phoebus does an excellent job with their kicking game. The big thing is that Hampton has such an explosive return team. If they get an opportunity to set up their wall, that's been one of the bugaboos for Phoebus, is getting down to cover those punts.
And now we have an official timeout as Phoebus had a difficult situation determining whether or not they had the right number of players on the field.
And I think they were one shy. That's what happened to Hampton when they played Warwick. They only had 10 men. And, of course, some people try to put 12 on the field.
Especially on goal line defense.
we're kind of alluding to last night's ball game. Coach Guys had a solid defensive team in there on the goal line, but there was one too many men in there.
Unfortunately, they still made it.
Didn't even help, huh?
Sure didn't.
Fourth down for the Phantoms. Bill D has come out to check on the condition as far as the team is concerned, as far as what they're going to do in the situation. I can't see them going for it this early in the ball game. I'd be very surprised if they did. And of course, his main concern was he had a incomplete team on the field. So I hope by now they've got their 11 in place. And we'll see Sean Hamlet go back to receive the punt from Kevin Beckner, who's averaging more than 35 yards per kick. Not much of a rush by the Crabbers, and unfortunately for the Phantoms, not much of a kick as it went off the side of Beckner's foot. He didn't get any rush. He may have had too much time.
Well, and it really went off the side of his foot, and it was caught by a Phoebus Phantom on the sideline. But that's one way, and I'm sure what his idea was to keep the ball away from Hamlet, kick it away from him, and
well, that's obviously a real good attempt and strategy by Coach D to put that ball away from them, because Hampton does an excellent job with their kick returns, as evidenced last week against Forward.
Of course, Kozlowski is here tonight, I'm sure, Bob, with one thing in mind. He's scouting this Phoebus team.
Well, he's got to play both these teams, Jess.
That's true. Yeah, he's scouting. Of course, Phoebus is the next one up.
Without question, and Phoebus is a very good football team, and, we're just going to try to keep it respectable. And as banged up as we are, we're probably in a similar situation as they were in last year.
Well, you had a couple of players bite the dust last night. How are the other players that were injured as well?
Mostly sprains and bruises, so we were very fortunate in that regard. However, some of them will not play next week.
All right, Hampton takes over now at their 43-yard line. Fred Brown, the quarterback, gives right side Vic Williams. The ball came loose, but I believe it'll be after the whistle had sounded.
Well, they really stacked up the center of that line, they being the Phoebus defense. I was talking to, we can see on the replay, I was talking to one of your coaches last night, Fendolf Taylor, and here we go with the Hampton offense.
All right, let me do that real quickly. The centers, Cherry, Newsom, and Tynes are the guards. Bowers and Kavanaugh are the tackles. The end is Gatling. The other end is Spencer. Quarterback is Fred Brown. Snow is the fullback. Vic Williams is the tailback, and John Stein is the flanker.
And after this play, we'll come up with the defense. But I was talking to Fendolf Taylor, and I said, you probably lose your JV team. You're going to have to go up and help the varsity.
That's possible.
Brown back to pass. Over the middle, picked off. Interception to the 47-yard line. A late flag goes down. Ball was intercepted by number 6, Thomas Bailey, who has been starting at quarterback for the Phantoms.
Because he saw that ball coming.
Well, he did an excellent thing. What he did, he was playing the zone, and Fred Brown stepped up there trying to throw a direct strike to number 87, and the ball was not really high enough nor away from him as a receiver. As you look at it, here Fred Brown steps up in the pocket and zips the ball. Notice the low trajectory on it, and here steps right in and intercepts it from 87 and does a great job after he intercepts.
And then there was a clipping on the play, so that drops it back for 15 yards, but you turn the ball over, you got the ball now, so if you're Phoebus, you feel good if you can take the ball away from Hampton and keep their defense on the field and not their offense.
Fred Brown suffered his first and second interception of the season last week against Warwick, and now this being number 3. First time he threw the ball, he threw it to the wrong colored jersey. So the Phantoms now, in an effort to take advantage of this turnover, start from their 38-yard line. This is Maurice Turner off left tackle. He's across the 40 to about the 43.
And he got that after he was stumbling. When he got the ball, he was falling forward and still picked up 2 or 3 yards.
Well, that's a basic counter play out of the wishbone, and they do an excellent job with it. And their line did a good job of firing out on that defensive front of Hampton.
We can see it on the replay. He is a tough little runner.
235 yards on the season in 45 carries. His best game so far is 72-yard evening against the Gloucester Dukes. I always want to say the Dukes of Gloucester. Sounds like a TV show. Again, Turner gets the call, and he just drags tacklers out close to a first down.
Well, I think the spot is going to make it about a half-a-yard shy, but he was tackled at about the 45 and still picked up a couple more yards.
Well, Maurice Turner really is an exceptional back. He moves his legs very well through the contact. And also, I think you'll get an opportunity to see it here if we are able to find it on our replay system. And here he is. He takes it on a counter step, and they lead the lead back inside on him. And he just sticks his head down. Now watch his leg drive, just continues moving his knees, short, choppy steps, and he drags about 4 of the Hampton defenders with him.
That was a good shot by our camera people.
Just short of the first down. 3rd down and less than a yard to go for the Phantoms. And a good second effort will get the first down, as stopped at the line of scrimmage was Chris Moore, but he just spun off the would-be tackler and did a fine job in getting the first down.
He sure did. Now, last week I got to watch Chris Moore for the first time, and he just, from that fullback spot, just did an excellent job.
Here you see he has met head-on and just spun away and had the presence of mind to drive forward, and that's the kind of instincts you like to see in a young man.
Definitely.
Just shy of the 50-yard line, the Phantoms with 4 fresh downs. 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. No score between the first-place Hampton Crabbers and the first-place Phoebus Phantoms. Maurice Turner picks up 5.
It looks like to me that the Phantoms are really firing off the ball offensively. That line, they're starting to control that line of scrimmage, guys.
Well, what's happening is Coach Smith has opted to run something similar to a 6-1 double invert. Here you see the handoff again on the counter to Turner. He finds the open space, and of course, before the invert man can come up and get him, he has traveled at least 5 yards.
It looks like it's almost a 7-man line. They've got that middle linebacker right up there close, because they know they're going to run the ball.
And again, Turner doses the ball close to another first down, and depends on exactly where they mark the ball. You know, interestingly enough, with the Phantoms being almost an exclusive running team, they don't have anyone in the top 10
Here is
rushers.
a blast, and you can see those blue jerseys just driving Hampton back off of the ball. And Maurice Turner, or number 22, just stays right up in there behind him and holds that ball with 2 hands.
He wasn't about to lose it, and I believe he got the first down. Yes, he did.
Just by the nose of the ball, but enough to get the first down, so the Phantoms keep driving with 4:16 remaining. You may not have heard me, but I was looking through the statistics compiled by the Daily Press, and we thank those fine folks for helping us out with those stats. But Phoebus, a strictly ground team, doesn't have anyone in the top 10 rushers. They spread it around pretty evenly, I guess.
Well, that's one of the advantages of the wishbone. You really don't know which back is going to carry the ball. You have an explosive fullback and 2 good halfbacks, so you have to key on all 3.
This is Turner again, bounces off 1 tackler and picks up 5 more. So every time you carry the ball, you can pick up 5 yards. You're going to do some damage.
Yeah, I know that Danny Mitchell and the defense over there are going to start getting mad at their guys because they're making contact at the line of scrimmage, but they're not bringing them down. They're not locking up, guys.
Well, this was really all Maurice Turner's effort. If we get an opportunity to see it, he takes those short, choppy steps, and he does a great job of spinning. Here come the tacklers in. Boom, 1 hits him, 2 hits him, and Maurice keeps his feet moving. And number 74 and this invert man, number 9, come up and make the tackle.
74 was Lloyd Tucker, Jr. Give him credit for the stop, but again, almost 5 yards on the carry, 2nd down and a long 5. Looked like some movement, but no flag. And Beckner carries close to yet another first down. He will be a little short on the first down try. It'll be 3rd down and less than a yard.
Beckner's doing a good job of reading his keys.
Well, even though they're in the eye on this play, they're really still reading the option. Here you see him fake to the fullback. Good block by number 1. The quarterback opts to keep the ball up inside. And, you know, he reminds me of Tyndall a little bit, because what he does, we used to tell Mike he was so small, get 5 and get down. And that's what that young man did.
Well, and he's got a good coach on the side. He got it from you.
3rd down and a yard. Chris Moore gets the first down and then some. Coach, I wanted to tell you how impressed we are with a couple of players we saw last night. This Allen Iverson, this number 10, he is going to be something else, isn't he?
Yes, he has a lot of potential, and of course he's demonstrated it significantly, both offensively and defensively. The thing is, we got to get a little weight on him and have him be a little bit more consistent. He has a tendency to go through some mental lapses.
Well, being a 9th grader, you're going to expect that, I'm sure.
But he just looks like he's really a good raw talent. It looks like with some development, he's going to be a great one.
He could be, very definitely.
Beckner keeping across the 25 to about the 24. First time in a while now that the Phantoms didn't pick up 5 on first.
Well, you know, Tim, I'm glad that you mentioned Tim Iverson. I think it'd be good for me to point out to not just Iverson, but any of our City of Hampton football players that it's important to academically start out and keep yourself in good academic credentials so that you can qualify for Proposition 48. Unfortunately, sometimes, these ninth graders think, well, I'll wait until my senior year, my junior year, and unfortunately don't realize it counts from ninth grade on.
Very good point. Beckner gets away from a couple of tacklers. Again, missed tackles are really hurting.
Well, that was number 77, Dwayne Thompson, the tackle on that side. He's 5'11", almost 6 foot, but 240-some pounds, and he just doesn't lock up.
You'll see it on the replay here.
And watch him, he hits him, fights off a block, and then loses him.
Boy, was he upset with himself, Thompson was.
Oh.
Well, I think number 77 might have knocked the other man off of the tackle as well.
3rd down and about, well, let's call it 5. Beckner still has the ball, and Hampton is ready for him.
Well, I think that was just a mix-up in the backfield because the backs went to the left and he went to the right.
And Hampton was waiting for him when he went to the right. Not to belabor the point about last night's game, Paul London had a real fine game last night, too, as did others on your team.
Well, let's give credit to Kickerton and Coach Newsom. They did an excellent job. Here we are in the last play. We see the fullback goes the wrong way. Our poor quarterback's out there by himself. And, of course, the 3 Hampton players, but number 54 will strip the ball away from the quarterback. Of course, he was down before the ball was blown dead.
All right, we're going to have about a 32-yarder.
That's more like a 37-yarder. It's going to be good.
Boy, that is 37-yarder.
37-yard field goal. With just 5 seconds remaining in the first quarter, the Phantoms draw first blood. So that is, in fact, the first points scored against a Hampton defense.
Well, one thing I want to bring up, now this is very reminiscent of last night when Coach Coss's team had the ball almost the whole quarter. Phoebus has had the ball almost the whole quarter in this game.
Well, you see the ball, it's long enough, in 37-yarder, and it just gets inside that left goalpost.
Well, that was one thing Coach D talked about earlier, Tim, was how good his kicking game is. He has a lot of confidence in his kicking game.
So the Phantoms are able to draw first blood.
Well, that was a very impressive drive that Phoebus put together. They never threw the ball, but yet they seem to piecemeal their running right at that Hampton defense.
Well, they're saying, we're going to run, and Hampton, stop us if you can.
Jensen has the ball teed up. He recorded the 37-yarder. Gets good foot in this ball. The wind holds it up. There's not much wind. And falling down is Sean Hamlin. Lost his footing, so the Crabbers will start from their 13-yard line. That's a break of sorts.
I guess that was the phantom tackler.
Here we go. Maybe we'll see the phantom tackler this time. Nope, we didn't see him again.
I still didn't see it.
So that was the phantom tackler. He was there.
And now a timeout is being signaled.
No, that's the end of the quarter, Tim.
Because it's the end of the quarter. That's right. Listen, speaking of the end of the quarter, let's talk about the players of the game, Bob, that we're going to be talking about. Do you have your little sheet there?
I sure do. We're going to have pick a player of the game for each one of these two teams tonight. And, of course, we got permission from Earl Gillespie at the VHSL up in Charlottesville. The plaque will be awarded tonight to one of the players on each one of the teams. It's donated by DC Engraving. It's a sample of metal photo. DC Engraving is located at York Village Shopping Center on Route 17 in Grafton. Also, we have shirts that we'll give them, very similar to the shirts that the staff wears. And this was donated by Turner's Hardware and Sports Place. They have 3 locations. One is in Willow Oak Shopping Center. Another one is in Denby Hardware and Sporting Goods, located in Denby Square. And the newest store is at the Sports Place, located in the shops in Hampton Harbor next to Hampton University. And I know that young Mr. Iverson, who was a recipient of one of the games, really was afraid. He loved the shirt. He's got the plaque up on the wall, and that really makes, because that's some feedback we don't get very often, and that was nice to hear.
Yes, he was most appreciative, and I think all the coaches appreciate what Tim, Channel 5, and you, Bob, are doing to support our athletic programs.
Travers start from their 13-yard line. Brown gives to Vic Williams. Williams is going to be pushed back after a short gain. He may have gotten a yard, but the Phantom defense, of course, is now fired up as a result of taking the lead. That is obviously the first time all year that a Hampton team has found themselves behind.
Well, I tell you, nothing will fire up a defense any quicker than when your offense takes the ball, marches down the field, and scores.
Well, this is an unenviable situation that Hampton is in. Here he gets stuffed, and two guys come in, and look at the pursuit by Phoebus, and they put him for a loss. And when you start out this deep in your own territory, it's really a tough situation.
Actually, he was able to, through a good second effort, pick up 1 yard on the play. Now Sean Hamlet gets the pitch and tries to turn the right corner. He gets up to the 17 before he steps out of bounds, and that'll bring up a third down.
Well, it limits
and
your
about 6.
Excuse me, Tim. It limits your opportunity, guys, when you're down this. You don't want to put that ball up in there if you get yourself a couple of first downs and get out of that end zone that's in your back pocket.
Yeah, unless you're Bethel.
That extra voice you hear in your television set tonight is Coach Dennis Kozlowski of the Bethel Bruins. If you just joined us late, the Phantoms have recorded a 37-yard field goal after a turnover, an interception by Thomas Bailey of the Phantoms, and they were able to capitalize to take a 3-0 lead. We're just into the second quarter. Draw play to Sean Hamlet. The play diagnosed very well by the Phantoms. He's tripped up as he gets to the 20-yard line, and it'll be a 4th down and a kicking situation for the Crabbers.
Well, this was an excellent call by Coach Smith and the staff, 3rd down and about 7 yards. And it was blocked well, but that defensive back, he eludes 89, he eludes this man here, but here comes a halfback up, number 3, puts an excellent, number 6 did an excellent job making that tackle in the open field.
That's Tom Bailey again. High snap is fielded by Stein. He gets the kick away. It's an end-over-end kick. And it takes a definite Hampton roll all the way down inside of the 40-yard line of the Phantoms, and that's where it'll be whistled dead by the officials. But again, the Phantoms will have good field position, something the Crabbers did not have after that last exchange.
Well, they have not had good field position tonight.
Well, they had it on that first series. The pass interception, of course, stopped that drive very quickly. And, of course, what little return he did gave that Phoebus offense good field possession to implement their ground attack and just churn the yardage away to get that field goal.
Well, you mentioned that Tom Bailey is the one that intercepted the pass. He was normally the starting quarterback, and he's a good defensive player and a good athlete, and it's good to see that he stepped up defensively.
Good yardage. Fumble after a 9-yard gain, and we're going to say, did the ball come loose on the contact with the ground? Of course, the rule is the ground cannot cause a fumble, and apparently that's going to be the call. Much to the unhappiness of the Hampton side. Watch this if you
Just
may.
a straight dive to the fullback.
That's Tom Moore. And let's watch and see now. That ball, well, I'm not sure it wasn't a little loose before he hit the ground, but it was signaled down on the field. A good call by the officials. They were right on top of the play.
Okay. Guys, we sure appreciate you coming by.
It's my pleasure, gentlemen. Keep up the good work.
And we'll have that gold watch in the mail to you guys for being our guest here in the first quarter. So Phoebus retains possession, but it's 2nd down, and now the Phantoms get into Hampton territory with a 1st down.
Well, and now you got to say that Phoebus wants this game a whole lot more than Hampton does. That Hampton, who has got a good defense.
I'm not going to say that.
And it's just right now that Phoebus has not got any recognition. They have not played a hard schedule. Hampton's defense has just done an excellent job all year, and Phoebus has just beaten them off the line of scrimmage. And I know they're going to make some adjustments, but they're going to have to do something because Phoebus is not throwing the ball.
They're running it right down their throats. 44-yard line is the mark for the ball. 1st down. Tom Moore down close to the 40. Pickup of about 4 more. And the Phantoms have yet to throw the ball. As I mentioned earlier, they've only thrown the ball a total of 19 times all season, and only 134 yards amassed in 4 games. So you can tell that that's just not their game plan. Here's the replay of the last down. There you see Moore, just a straight up the middle handoff.
Well, you put that man in motion, and that brings the linebacker over and helps create a seam.
Pickup of almost 5. Let's call it 2nd down and a short 6. And Tom Moore tries the left side of the line with no success, as he may have gotten a yard at the very most. 8:05 remaining in the first half. The game moving extremely quickly. The Phantoms have had the ball the majority of the time, and since they don't throw the ball, the clock continues to run.
Right. This is one of the first times you can see on the replay where Chris Moore goes straight ahead, and he is met at the line of scrimmage and doesn't get anywhere. There's nowhere to go. In fact, it looked like he ran into his own player there at the beginning, and that was one of the very few times that Phoebus has not picked up 3 or 4 yards.
3rd down and 5, ball at the Hampton 40.
And they're lined up in a...
And they throw the ball, almost intercepted. The flag is down. 2 flags, as a matter of fact. Sean Hamlet leaped up in the air and had the ball, but couldn't hold on to it. So now you see why they don't throw very often. That ball was a bad pass.
They look like they went into an unbalanced line, and if the man here on this side was on the line of scrimmage, then the end would have been ineligible.
There you saw Sean Hamlet went up to make the intercept but couldn't hold on to it. The flags are against the Phoebus Phantoms. Let's listen in to Jack Winley.
Had an ineligible receiver downfield on offense, refused, 4th down.
So you heard it.
Well, that's what happened when your wide man is on a line of scrimmage. Then the guys at the end of the line, so to speak, before you get wide, is either got to be back or he becomes an ineligible receiver.
And now the Phantoms are going to call a timeout.
And that's their 2nd timeout.
They need to discuss this a little bit and make sure they've got the right game plan in mind. This gives us an opportunity to make you aware of the fact that our statistics for tonight's game, besides those most generously provided to us by the Daily Press, but our game statistics will be compiled by Gary Moore and Computerland. And Gary is here, rushed back from Petersburg, Virginia today to be on hand for this, and we appreciate their efforts.
And he's by himself tonight. He didn't have a spotter, so
he's got a tough job without a spotter.
Tough job. I also want to mention the fact that Hampton is having this half a marathon. It's going to be promoted by Promoco Corporation, and it's going to be the 10th day of February. And we're going to do that, and we ask all our viewers, if you are a runner, come on out and participate, because Tim won't get in your way.
Sure won't. So the Phantoms have discussed their options here. Mike Smith is coming off the field having told his defense what they should do. And now a big 4th down and 5, and the Phantoms are going to be in deep punt formation. Of course, you can always watch for a fake. No rush by the Crabbers, and again, not a particularly good kick by Beckner. Fair catch called for. The ball fumbled. The ball is still loose. The Phantoms have got it, and they're not going to
cannot be a touchdown.
They cannot advance the ball, but they will have it inside the Hampton 5-yard line. So the Crabbers uncharacteristically fumble the...
That was Thomas Bailey that ended up with the ball, and he's mad. He wanted a touchdown. But you're right, the kicking team cannot advance the ball. Hampton is just making too many mistakes tonight.
Well, it's early, but they have definitely got the Crabbers backed up. Bailey, here you see the punt from Beckner. Again, not a good kick.
Well, it was just a kind of a pooch kick. He was just trying to get it to drop down, and that was number 11 that fumbled the ball. That's Ron Hill. I'm sorry, Terry Connor.
Maurice Turner gets the call, struggling to the 2-yard line. So the Phantoms, leading 3-0, have another break here as they have recovered a fumble at the 3-yard line. Tom Bailey has recovered both the fumble and the interception.
2 turnovers, very uncharacteristic of the Hampton team. And another thing is Hampton is yet to register a first down, and we're gone a quarter and a half.
2nd and goal at the 1. This is Chris Moore, and he will not get in. You know that Hampton defense is geared up to keep him out if they can.
Well, they really get tough when you get inside the 10-yard line, and we've seen this year after year after year. They'll sometimes will let you get close, but won't let you cross the goal line. But that ball is very close. It looks like it's right at about the 1-yard line or 1-foot line.
3rd down and goal. Beckner keeps it. Still no signal. And now they are signaling a touchdown for the Phantoms.
That was a late signal coming, but the officials wanted to make sure.
And they are sure now.
And this crowd on this sideline is just going absolutely wild.
So Beckner gets the touchdown. Jensen will be on to try the extra point. The Phantoms leading 9-0. The extra point is good.
Watch this on the score, and it's just a straight quarterback keeper, and it looks like he stopped, but he keeps moving. And it's impossible to see whether it was he got across or not from our angle, but the official was right there and called it good.
So the Phantoms have again capitalized on a turnover. Both times Thomas Bailey has either intercepted the ball or in this last case recovered the fumble, and the Phantoms took it right in. And now the Crabbers find themselves trailing 10-0 with 5:58 remaining in the first half. So the Phantoms, as I mentioned before, and this game is far from over, so don't go away, folks, but the Phantoms have just not gotten any respect, and I think someone now is probably standing up and saying, wait a minute, maybe we are not giving them the credit they should get at this point. Jensen kicks it down to the 1-yard line. This is Sheldon Snow out across the 30 to the 31. Check that, Deshaun Merrow, number 33, carries the ball. So the Crabbers will set up from their 31.
Watch it, he almost, if he's in the end zone, if the ball goes in the end zone, the ball is brought out to the 20-yard line, but he catches that ball right at the goal line. Nice run back.
Back to the live action. Nothing happening from Vic Williams. And you see that defense is all fired up for the Phantoms. In there, 33, Kevin Giles, a two-way player for the Phantoms.
Well, I talked to Kevin last night after our ball game, and he says, why haven't you done any of our games yet? And I said, Kevin, we're going to do 4 in a row. I says, well, we're looking for a player of the game. He says, watch me.
Right now, he's going to have to battle Tom Bailey for that honor so far. And now an official's timeout.
Well, they got 4th down on the sideline. I know it's not 4th down yet. It's got to be 2nd. They need to get it changed over there. There we go.
All right, we're squared away now. 2nd down and 11. Crabbers out of the eye. Brown fakes, wants to throw. Going to throw long. He's got John Stein behind the defense, and Stein comes up with a pass at the 23-yard line.
Well, that was an excellent play by John Stein, because that ball was a little bit underthrown, but he kept his eye on the ball and got between the receiver and the ball. What a nice catch and a nice pass by Fred Brown.
Boy, he really did throw that ball a long ways, too. Right on the money. As you said, though, Stein did have to come back a little bit for it, but he did a super job. of making the catch and the first down at the 24-yard line. We'll get a chance to see this one again. Brown fakes short and then just throws that thing as far as he can. And Stein does a great job here. Of course, he's looking back and the defender isn't. And Stein knew that the ball was about to get there. And we've got an early whistle here as they're going to rule the player was down in the grasp. Sean Hamlet said, wait a minute.
I think that was a quick whistle.
Yeah, I'm not a quarterback. Give me a chance to break a few tackles here. So the loss on the play. And here's the replay again of John Stein and the catch. Just a super concentration on Stein. Look at him leap in the air and pull that ball in. I mean, look at that, just went up for it and didn't care what happened to him as long as he made the catch.
Well, number 27 was, and that's T.J. Carrington. I'm sorry, it's Anthony Chapman. Did not do a bad job defensively, just didn't turn around.
Stacked up, nothing happening. It's hard to tell what happened. It looked like there was a busted play. And I still haven't been able to figure out who had the ball.
Well, we've had 2 plays and 2 losses.
So the only thing that has clicked so far for the Crabbers was the long bomb.
Well, that was going to be a pass play, and I think there was the center and the quarterback just didn't get the ball. At the same time, the line was firing off. I don't know exactly what happened, but they lost a couple yards on that play.
Third down and about 17. This is Sean Hamlet to the short side of the field, and he does get just not much at all. He is going to be well short of the first down. It'll be 4th for the Crabbers. A stunned Hampton side of the field silently watching. 3:05 remaining in the first half. And the Phantoms, as you watch the replay here, the pitch goes to Sean Hamlin. He's got Deshaun Morrow blocking for him, but he didn't get much. There wasn't much there to get.
Well, and he's running on the short side of the field. He doesn't have a lot of room either. They kind of just run him out of bounds.
4th down and 12. The Crabbers are going for it. Red Brown back to pass. Gets away from some pressure. Now throws in the end zone. It's short and incomplete. So the ball was thrown short. The intended receiver was Wayne Spencer, number 80. But the ball was too short for him to get. Bailey was over there along with Chad Hopkins.
Well, I was impressed that the ball got that close to the receiver because Fred Brown was run out of the pocket, was feeling a lot of pressure. As we can see on the replay, he gets a lot of pressure here from number 22, and that's Maurice Turner.
Ball was almost picked off. In fact, Spencer became a defensive player in the sense that he had to tackle the defender.
Well, and he has intercepted the ball. They would have lost 6 yards because they had the ball at the 20 instead of the 26.
So the Phantoms leading by a touchdown and a field goal, take over on downs, and they run it out to about the 27. 2:50 remaining in the first half. The Phoebus Phantoms and the Hampton Crabbers locked up, and the Phantoms are ahead 10-0. I'm Tim Cole with Bob Hintz. This game recorded Saturday, the 6th of October, 1990. Hope you're enjoying the ball game here on Channel 5, your place for Hampton High School sports.
I will talk to our director and see if he can get a hold of Dr. Still and have him come on up here to the booth with us.
Maurice Turner gets the handoff, spins away from a couple of would-be tacklers, and is out to the 32-yard line. Our director, who's he calling hot sausage man anyway?
Not you, not me. Watch Turner after he gets hit.
We've watched him do this for 4 years.
Yeah, he does not stop. He keeps his feet moving and little short choppy steps, and he's hard to bring down.
3rd down and almost 5. Minute 37, the clock moving. Chris Moore gets the call, and he will not get the first down. So we'll see the kicking team come on for the Phantoms, and now the Crabbers will use one of their 3 timeouts to stop the clock. And that'll give them 2 remaining. And the clock will stop with 1:27 remaining in the first half. If you joined us late, the Phantoms, after an interception by Tom Bailey, drove the length of the field and had to settle for a 37-yard field goal by John Jensen. And then on a punt play, the Crabbers fumbled the punt, and Tom Bailey again recovered. And the Phantoms took it in with Beckner, the quarterback, going the final yard for the touchdown. And again, Jensen's extra point made it 10-0. You're looking into the huddle. You see Bill D, the coach with the white cap on, coming back over to the sideline. Has to be very happy with the proceedings so far in the first half.
If you're Phoebus, you're really excited because this is the first time that the defense has been scored on, Hampton's defense, and you've already scored 10 points, and it's not halftime yet.
Beckner will get another chance to punt the ball. This time he gets all of it, driving Sean Hamlet all the way back to the 18-yard line. Hamlet, and he's still, well, he's going to get loose now, picking up some blockers. And we've got some blocking along the sidelines. He's got one man to beat. He's going to go all the way.
Oh, I tell you, there was some wicked blocking. I see no flag. That ball being kicked as far as it did gave Hampton a chance to set up a wall. And that was an awesome run back by Sean Hamlet. But you got to credit the blockers. They really started picking off the Phoebus defenders.
Someone in the booth here was yelling for a clip. There was a block from behind around the 35-yard line, but no flag fell. And Sean Hamlet redeems himself after having fumbled the last time he handled a punt. This time he returns it unofficially 82 yards and the touchdown. Welch will try the extra point. His kick is up and his kick is good. So just like that, the Hampton Crabbers, whose offense has sputtered here in the first half, takes the punt and returns it 82 yards. We'll get a chance, hopefully, to watch this again.
Well, this is one thing that Coach Kaz was talking about, how well Hampton special teams do, and especially running the ball back. But Beckner got all of that ball when he kicked it. I thought it was going over Hamlet's head.
Well, we're still waiting. Mr. Director, we're going to have that one again. We got some fans in the stands turned around waiting for this. We don't have that one? You better believe we got that one. Don't do that to me, Scotty. Well, we'll get it for you if we have it. It may have been serious. Crabbers, just like that, have narrowed the score to a 3-point difference. Short kick taken at the 21-yard line and out to the 30. That is Thomas Bailey.
Number 51 made the tackle, hurt himself, but he's going to be able to get off the field. Well, he got up and then.
Actually, I believe that's 41, McCorkindale.
Yes, it is. I'm sorry. I thought it was 51, but it is 41.
Yeah, he was shaken up, and he'll be attended to.
And that's Diane Limerick, the Hampton trainer out there, as along comes some of the other coaches. And it looks like Coach Albus Mann is one of the coaches, and Danny Mitchell. That's exactly who it is.
Pretty scary. It was exactly 59 seconds remaining in the first half of last night's game when Rodney Bowens was hurt and had to be taken to the hospital. But we're happy to say that he is doing better, and we're also very happy to tell you that McCorkindale is up and going off the field under his own steam. So we have good news for you there. The Phantoms will start from their 30-yard line, leading by the score of 10-7. Crabbers will undoubtedly get an emotional lift from that big return of the punt by Sean Hamlet. Flags are down.
Yeah, it just looks like it may have been something in the backfield on the line of scrimmage from where that flag was thrown.
Chris Moore carried for about 9 yards. Illegal shift is going to be the call against the Phantoms.
I didn't catch it, but then we can see the tail end of it.
So the 9-yard gain will be wiped out by the penalty. Clock stops with just 40 seconds remaining in the first half.
An illegal position on the offense. Replay down.
So the referee, Jack Whitley, tells us an illegal position on the offense, and a 5-yard penalty backs them up 1st and 15. Clock is restarted with 33 seconds remaining.
It's taken 2 or 3 people to bring down number 33, Kevin Giles, and again, he is there's not a weak runner in those 3 runners.
All right, clock is running, and that's going to be it for the first quarter. The final, or rather, at least the halftime score, will find the Phoebus Phantoms on top of the Hampton Crabbers. There you see the clock, 10-7 at halftime. We'll return with more of our game tonight after this brief timeout. There you see the Phoebus Phantom team back on the field just before the start of the second half. Tim Cole with Bob Hintz in what has to be a surprise to most of our viewers. The Phantoms of Phoebus 10, the Hampton Crabbers 7 at halftime, and the statistics really bear out how Phoebus dominated the first half. Time of possession alone, without getting into any other statistics, would prove 18 minutes and some change for the Phantoms, only 5 minutes and 48 seconds for the Hampton Crabbers.
That's unbelievable.
2 first downs in the first half for the Crabbers. Both of them came by passing. The Phantoms had 7 first downs, 6 by rushing and 1 by a penalty. Neither team was able to convert on a 3rd down, as Crabbers were 0 for 4 and the Phantoms were 0 for 5. Total net yards find the Crabbers with 54 yards, 46 of those coming in the air, and only 8 yards rushing in the first half. 84 yards for the Phantoms, and they had all of those yards coming on the ground. Total rushing plays, 25 for the Phantoms and 1 pass play, while the Crabbers had 9 rushing plays and they attempted 3 passes. So only 12 offensive plays for the Crabbers in the first 24 minutes. Average gain per pass, of course, the Crabbers with that big 46-yard completion, averaging 15 yards per pass attempt and 46 yards for the 1 catch. Fumbles, the Crabbers had that 1 fumble, and that led to the touchdown scored by Kevin Beckner. The other turnover was an interception, and that one was made by Tom Bailey, and that led to the field goal. So the 2 turnovers that the Crabbers committed in the first half resulted in 2 scores for the Phantoms. The only score for the Crabbers, of course, officially an 82-yard punt return by Sean Hamlet.
Well, Hampton will have the ball to start this second half. They kicked off that first half, and I know they want to try to get back on the ball, get back on the board, as it were, and try to move the ball, get your offense running. Bill D said earlier this week, if we can keep Hampton from making the big plays, we have a good chance of beating this team. Well, Hampton's had 2 big plays, one on a big long pass play, but netted 0 points. But that 82-yard return of a Kevin Beckner kick lit up the crowd on the far side.
Individual stats in the half find Sean Hamlet with 4 carries for 11 yards. He was thrown for a 4-yard loss on one of those, so he netted out 7 yards. 3 yards on 1 carry for Deshaun Morrow. Vic Williams carried 3 times, and he only ended up in 1 yard net. And Alex Brown ran once, and that was for a 3-yard loss. On the other side for the Phantoms, Turner carried 9 times for 38 yards. None of the Phantoms, by the way, was thrown for a loss in the first half. Moore carried 6 times for 23 yards. Beckner 6 times for 16 yards. 4 yards on 3 carries for Giles. And that rounds out the individual statistics. Again, compliments of Gary Moore and the fine folks over at Computerland. The Phantoms kick off to start the second half. The ball is fielded by Cassels at the 5-yard line. This is Tarek Cassels out to the 17, where he is snowed under by no less than 5 Phoebus Phantoms.
Well, he didn't get back to the 20-yard line, and if you can keep the other team inside that 20 on a kick return, your special teams is doing what you want them to do.
Yes, the big question is what kind of adjustments were made at halftime by both of the coaches. There you see the replay of the second half kickoff.
That was a nice angle. We have a camera in the end zone, and you could see following the kicker right into the kick and watch the ball, and you said there was a host of Phantoms.
Vic Williams gets the pitch and tries to turn the corner, but nothing happening there, as again that Phoebus defense is swarming all over the Hampton runners.
Williams on the carry. Rodney Reeves also is the tackle. Second down, about 10.
No gain on the play. Second down and 10 for the Crabbers. Brown wants to pass. He's getting pressure, rolling at his 5-yard line, and he is going to go down at the 15. The ball comes loose, but the officials are going to rule that the ball was dead where he went down at the 16-yard line.
The ball down at about the 16-yard line.
So again, that rule that the ground cannot cause a fumble comes into effect.
Well, he was down. His knee hit before the ball came out, but boy, he was kind of running for his life back there. And I know that if you're on the Hampton side, you don't want to see that because he's very close to his own end zone.
All he did was get back to the original line of scrimmage. So it's 3rd down and 10 for the Crabbers as their offense continues to struggle. Here you see the replay. Brown getting all kinds of pressure by Maurice Turner.
Brown did a good job of keeping Turner off of him because he could have been thrown back inside the 5.
Maurice Turner, another one of those good two-way athletes. And nothing happening again as the middle of that Phoebus line has just played tremendous defense throughout the evening.
That number 33, Kevin Giles, again on the stop. He's the linebacker on that side and another two-way player. But I tell you, they have got the Hampton dive play really stopped at this point. Phoebus should end up with decent field position.
Stein standing back inside his own 5-yard line. Some pressure from the Phantoms. Stein gets it away. It's fielded by Bailey. No fair catch called for. And Bailey is dropped at the 49-yard line. But again, the Phantoms will have great field position for this possession.
Well, anytime you've got the ball and you start off in the other side of the 50, you've got good field position.
The Phantoms, of course, beat Manor to open the season 15-0. Then they whipped Gloucester 30-7. They beat Menchville 14-0 and defeated Ferguson 20-0 to stand 4-0. And now they lead by 3 at the Hampton 49-yard line. This is Chris Moore to the Hampton 46. 8:50 remaining in the 3rd quarter. You're watching the game that was taped on the 6th of October, 1990, between the Hampton Crabbers, number 1 in the state and number 1 in the district. I should say number 1 at least for the time being, tied with the Phoebus Phantoms, who are also undefeated but not ranked in the state. And by the way, Hampton last week was ranked number 20 nationally by USA Today among all the high school teams in the nation. So if the Phantoms can hold on to this victory, boy, what an upset that'll be. Maurice Turner carries across the 45 down to about the 43 of Hampton.
Well, Phoebus is doing the same thing that they did the first half, is they're just popping that ball, but they're using a different runner. You don't know which runner is going to have the ball. You've got 4 potential ball carriers in that triple option. Giles and Moore and Turner in the backfield, and then, of course, Beckner can keep the ball.
Third down for the Phantoms, 3rd down and 4. They need to get the ball to the 39 of Hampton. And they do. They get the first down. So the fullback, Chris Moore, gets the call. And a good effort by Moore to get the first down.
And that's the truth. They are really doing a good job of distributing the ball. Phoebus is.
Here's your replay. Give credit to that offensive line of the Phantoms because they are doing an excellent job in creating the appropriate holes and the blocking schemes for their running backs. The offensive line has done a super job of handling that defensive line of Hampton. First down. And again, Chris Moore gets the call.
Moore off the right side.
And he is down across the 35-yard line. Actually, they'll mark it right at the 35.
Capehart on the tackle.
Pickup of 3, 2nd down and 7 for the Phantoms. Clock continues to move almost halfway through the 3rd quarter. And boy, the statistic from the first half that was most amazing was that the Phantoms had it 18 minutes and 12 seconds, while the Crabbers only 5 minutes and 48 seconds.
Yeah, if you'd have said that at the beginning of the game, you would have got a lot of people looking at you like you were kind of strange.
Flag down as Beckner on the quarterback option.
Well, now where that flag came in, excuse me, Tim, could very well be holding. It came in at the line of scrimmage after the play had started. And that's exactly the call.
It's going to be offensive holding against the Phantoms. One of the few times that the Phantoms have made mistakes. They were penalized 3 times for 20 yards in the first half. Here's your replay. Let's see if we can pick up the holding. I'm not sure we'll be able to. Well, there, yeah, I think you do see it. It looked like 55 had a good hold on 70 of Hampton. But, of course, that's just a guess. I don't really know who did it for sure, so we certainly don't want to blame anybody.
And you don't want to be hurting yourself with these kind of mistakes.
On the offense, repeat 1st down, 2nd down.
So Jack Windley, our referee, tells us, and again, we appreciate the officials allowing us to put the wireless mic on tonight so you can hear firsthand the calls from the field. So it's 2nd down again, 2nd down and 18 after the holding call against the Phantoms. Right up the middle. Chris Moore, excuse me, to the 42.
Well, they're picking up 3 and 4 yards just about every time they run it. But now you've got a 3rd and it looks like a good 13.
Pick up a 4 on the play.
Chris Moore did not do much in the first 3 games of the season for the Phantoms. He only had 5 yards in their victory over Manor. Did not get any yardage in the games with Gloucester or Mansfield.
I don't think he played in those 2 games.
Possibly not. And then carried 19 times for 85 yards against Ferguson and has found himself a starting role at the fullback position and done a good job. This is going to be a possible halfback option pass. It is, and it goes incomplete as the ball carrier, 33, Kevin Giles, rolled to his right, looked downfield, and then threw incomplete. So that stops the clock. One of the few times in the second half here, the clock has stopped. 5:34 remaining in the 3rd quarter. And our score remains 10-7 in favor of the Phoebus Phantoms.
Well, that was not a bad call by Bill D. It was just not well executed.
Beckner will be standing back in deep punt formation with a 4th down and 13. Only one oncoming rusher for the Crabbers. A line drive bobbled by Sean Hamlet. And apparently he called for a fair catch. Or a quick whistle, I'm not sure.
No, he did call for a fair catch, but it was a quick fair catch, and the ball hit him in the shoulder pads. And he lost it momentarily. That's why we didn't see a flag after the contact was made.
So again, the Crabbers with horrible field position. We'll start from their, well, let's call it the 12-yard line. Their only score coming on an official 83-yard punt return by Sean Hamlin. There you see part of the big crowd on hand on the Phoebus side as well as the Hampton side. This is probably the best crowd I've seen here all year.
Up the middle.
Again, up the middle, not much happening. The Crabbers have just not been able to move the ball past the middle of that Phoebus line.
Well, we had a 9,000 here when Hampton played Warwick, and we've got, it looks like, at least that many here tonight.
You'll watch the replay again. Up the middle, and the Phantoms have got that clogged up. The Crabbers are going to have to go somewhere else.
And that's both Bontemps, number 87, plugging up that side of the line, no hole.
Sting now, sting.
Brown still has the football, and he picks up a few out close to the 17-yard line. Again, you know, the offense just seems to be out of sync. They just don't seem to be getting fired off the ball, and they're just not moving the ball well.
Well, and that could be one of two things. You know, sometimes it happens that people are just not in sync, and sometimes it happens because the other team is beating you to the punch, so to speak.
You saw the replay. 3rd down and 4 for the Crabbers. Stein comes spread wide to the right, out of the eye. And the Crabbers call a timeout. That will be their first timeout used in the second half.
Well, I think what they were trying to do is draw the Phantoms offside. Had they got them to jump into the neutral zone, then that would have been a first down, because this looks like it's a 3rd and a long 3.
Well, you know, we make reference to this play all the time, and it's one that's used by all of the teams constantly, and it's getting so anymore that the coaches are drilling their players so well to avoid this temptation that it really doesn't work as often as it used to. We see it happen more often out of district.
Oh, absolutely. But one thing, the reason that you don't see it as much in this district anymore is because all of them use it.
Yeah. We remind you again that we will be picking a player of the game for both squads. At the conclusion of the ball game, we will announce those 2 players, and we emphasize the unscientific methods by which we do this. We don't ever want anyone to feel slighted, because as occurred in the game we covered last night between Kecoughtan and Bethel, any one of a half a dozen players from either side could have been honored with that player of the game.
We will give him a plaque from DC Engraving and a shirt from Turner Sports Place.
3rd down for the Crabbers, 3rd down and 4. 4:02 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Brown pretends to pitch the ball and then does not get the first down. So he faked the pitch and rolled back into the center of the line, and the Phantoms were waiting for him. It'll be 4th down and 2, and needless to say, the kicking team will come on for the Crabbers. That's this again. You'll see Brown spin and fake the toss, hoping that it will draw the defense away from him. And in fact, it really didn't fool the Phantoms at all.
They're well prepared for this game tonight.
Let's give Bill D and his coaching staff a lot of credit for that. This team is well prepared. Stein gets a good foot in the ball. Thomas Bailey feels it back at the 37-yard line and then gets it out across the 40 to the 43.
And he's just standing there waiting to see what make the defense commit themselves. And I'm sure the people in the stands were saying, run with the ball.
The ball was a low line driver and didn't give either team much an opportunity to get down there. Certainly the Phantoms had no opportunity to set up any blocking. Here you see it. Good kick by Stein. And Bailey now watch, he's going to just kind of stop here and stand and say, well, boy, is that a scary sight to see all those white uniforms coming at you.
It really is.
Again, the Phantoms with excellent field position, something the Crabbers have not had at all tonight. They'll start from their 43. This is Maurice Turner. Slicing off the side for 8 more yards. So Turner continues to do well running the ball.
Well, they're doing some good blocking on the right side of that line for the Phantoms. Because there was a nice hole open up and he got 8 yards. Watch this replay. Number 70 for the Hampton Crabbers took a shot at him in the backfield. That's Kavanaugh, but he missed him and 8 yards.
2nd and 2 for the Phantoms. 2:17 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Phoebus holding on to a 3-point lead. Beckner gives to Chris Moore. Chris Moore has the first down. They're not doing anything fancy, Bob. They're just running it right down the middle. And doing it with success. Mark knocked the ball just inside the 44-yard line of Hampton. Here's your replay. Chris Moore, no fake, nothing here except good blocking by the offensive line. They're just blowing Hampton off the line of scrimmage. First down again for the Phantoms.
Go, baby! Go, Maury!
Turner trying to get outside, and he is wrapped up by Anthony Cherry before he had a chance to get back much more than to the line of scrimmage.
That was one of the few times that on first down that the Phantoms did not gain much. That was a counter play that time.
Newsom in on the stop. Watch the replay here. Byron Newsom will meet Turner, and Cherry is there to make the initial stop, and then Newsom finished him off.
Cherry was the initial tackler on that play, and he held up Turner.
Gain of a half yard, second down and a long 9. Again, Cherry in on the stop. Moore gets the call. He crosses the Hampton 40. So it'll bring up a third down and about 5 for the Phantoms. Inside of a minute to play here in the third quarter. Game has moved along with great speed. There you see Moore puts his head down. Tries to bowl over Galen Burrell, number 89.
And he did.
They mark it at the Hampton 40. 1/2 minute remaining in the third quarter. Third down and 6 for the Phantoms. Beckner keeps, pitches. Here's Turner, wrapped up by Sean Hamlet, but not before a first down at the 19-yard line.
Well, I tell you, Maurice Turner has really got some speed.
Turner to the 19. There you see it again. Beckner kept that ball just as long as he could. Perfect toss on the option play. Turner did a great job, and Sean Hamlet was the tackle to save the touchdown.
Well, that Mr. Turner has some good speed. He runs track.
Beckner again, same play. He keeps it this time. And Beckner down close to the 10-yard line. And that's going to run out the clock here in the third quarter. So we've played 3 quarters, and the Phantoms with the ball at the Hampton 10-yard line, a second down and a yard to go. Here's the replay. Again, Hamlet over there to stop Beckner. But not before he picks up almost 9 yards.
I am so impressed with this offensive team of the Phantoms. They are just controlling that line of scrimmage.
I really think that that's where the credit is due. Take none of the effort away from the backfield, but if you don't have the blocking, you're not going to move the ball like that, and that's what's happening.
But also there's another factor in there, and that's Mr. Kevin Beckner. He has certain keys he's got to read. And he has not made many mistakes in reading tonight.
12 minutes remaining in the ball game. The battle for first place in the Peninsula District. Both of these teams 4-0 overall, 3-0 in the district.
Well, a score here would really put a lot of pressure on Hampton. You only have 1 quarter left. Right now, down by 3, anything could happen. You could break a big play and score and win this game, but if the Phantoms score here, then you got Hampton having to score 2 times. And it's hard to get the ball back from a team that runs the ball and runs the clock.
They saw the Phoebus faithful enjoying the ball game to its utmost. Gain of 9 on that last play as we start the fourth quarter. It's second down and 1 at the Hampton 10-yard line. Kevin Beckner gives to Moore, and Moore will be close to the first down. It will depend on where they spot it. There you see 44, Chris Moore. He's done an excellent job of running the ball from the fullback position tonight. They're going to take a look at this. And in fact, they're going to bring the chains across the field to measure. Watch again as you'll see Moore just drive into the middle of that line and following his blocking. Good effort by the Crabbers, number 77, Dwayne Thompson. And Anthony Cherry was there as well, but it is the first down for the Phantoms.
Now you got 4 downs to get it in the end zone, because you're not going to pick up a first down because you're inside the 10-yard line. But Phoebus has really been controlling that line of scrimmage.
Now the officials take a timeout for a moment, and we'll reset it. First and goal at the 9. Chris Moore gets the call. And again, Phoebus just content to bang that ball up the middle or off tackle. Nothing fancy.
They haven't tried to do anything fancy except that halfback pass.
And that almost cost them an interception. But so far, they have played almost a flawless ball game. And that's what it usually takes if you're going to beat a team like Hampton. Second and goal inside the 10. Beckner keeps, and he is down inside the 5 to the 2.
He is really reading his keys well.
Clock continues to move, 10:44 and moving in the fourth quarter. Here's your replay from the end zone. See the excellent blocking again. Beckner bowled over as he got to the 2-yard line. Maurice Turner, touchdown!
I tell you, I am so impressed with the way Phoebus is playing tonight. They have taken this game away from Hampton. The Hampton crowd on the other side is stunned.
Well, you know, this has been a day of upsets. Notre Dame got knocked off today, and Florida State got beaten, and it looks like Hampton is going to have to regroup here if they want to avoid a similar fate. Jensen on to try the extra point. It's low, and it's no good, so he misses it wide to the left. And the margin of the game now is 9 points at 16-7.
Well, Hampton still has to score twice. They've got to get a field goal and a touchdown or 2 touchdowns, and they don't have much time because they have not been able to stop the Phantoms and stop the Phantoms from running out the clock and eating up the clock, as you alluded to in the first half, how long they had the ball the first half, and it's the same thing this half.
You know, of course, one complements the other, and it goes back to that old argument, what's the best defense is a good offense, and the best offense is a good defense. In this situation, the Phoebus defense has not had to be on the field long, but give them some credit. When they've been on the field, they have stopped Hampton cold.
Well, it's hard to score if you don't have the ball.
16-7, the Phantoms with the upset of the year at this point. The public had said the reason the Phantoms didn't get the respect they should have is because they had played a soft first 4 games on their schedule. Well, they're tangling with the #1 team in the state, and they are taking it to them. This is Deshaun Morrow looking to break a big one. He's out close to the 30, about the 28-yard line, is as good a field position as Hampton has had. You joined us late. The Phantoms got on the scoreboard with a 37-yard field goal by John Jensen. That came with just 5 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And then they added a touchdown as Beckner took from 1 yard out with 5:58 to go in the first half. They can get 10-0, and then the Crabbers with an 83-yard punt return narrowed it to 10-7 at halftime. This is Vic Williams, and Williams is down and then wrestled down even more emphatically as he got across the 32, the 34. Our score at halftime was 10-7, and now the Phantoms have added Turner 2 yards out added another touchdown, and we're at 16-7. Here's Williams tackled by Chad Hopkins, and then Kevin Giles says, "I'll take you down for sure." Mark the ball at the Hampton 33-yard line. 2nd down and 4. Brown looking for Mario Gatling, has him at the 46-yard line.
That was an excellent catch and a beautiful defensive play. He was hit as he got the ball, but his concentration, he held right on to it.
Mario Gatling makes his first catch of the evening. He had 6 on the season coming into this game for a total of 128 yards.
That was Thomas Bailey making that defensive stop on Gatling.
There you saw Gatling had no chance to advance the ball, but a good effort by Gatling to hold on after the strong hit by Bailey. The Crabbers caught the Phantoms in a blitz. Fred Brown very wisely kept the ball and got the first down.
He ran right by, the defenders ran right by him because they thought he was going to pitch it.
So I don't know whether that was an audible or an ad-lib play or not, but it was a very effective play for the Crabbers nonetheless.
Who cares?
That's right. Doesn't matter how or why.
That's the first down.
So Brown gets the first down. And the Crabbers now trailing by 9, have it at the Phoebus 42. 8:20 remaining in the ball game. Deshaun Morrow carries to the 40. Morrow carrying for one of the few times this evening.
33 Sean Miller on that carry.
Arrow has 26 carries for 176 yards coming into this game.
We got a hurt player on the field.
And he is being helped off the field by a couple of his teammates. We cannot make out his number at this point. Try and pick that up for you when we can, but the Phantoms don't want anything to delay their momentum in this game.
No,
they want to get him off the field, have him attended to as quickly as possible. Keep the game moving. 8:04 remaining. This game is only an hour and a half old.
We played a game with Bethel playing, I think it was against Gloucester, and it was about almost 3 hours.
Brown eludes one tackler and then gets back to the line of scrimmage and is snowed under by Kevin Giles, among others. One of those others, as we want to give credit to those who should get it, Rodney Reese, number 89.
Watch the replay. Brown just doesn't have any time to set up. Does a good job of scrambling here to avoid getting thrown for a loss. Kevin Giles was not going to be faked out.
Well, he's carrying that ball precariously in that one hand, too. You know, the coaches were catching their breath on that play. 3rd down and 7. Brown has plenty of time, steps up in the pocket, throws. He's got Stein open. Stein can't hold on to it. The flag comes down. And we'll have to wait and see how this call goes.
Well, it looked like a good defensive play from this point, but the angle that the official had, he may have had his hand on the back of the player when he went for the ball, so we can't tell. And we may have that on replay, but that's a big penalty.
Let's see if we can pick it up on the replay here.
Again, Brown gets a lot of pressure. He steps up in the pocket and throws it.
Well, you know, it looked like he reached around.
Yeah, there was contact prior to the ball getting to. That was a good call.
And, you know, let's give credit where it's due. The officials have a tough call to make.
Defensive pass interference. First down, I'll give it to you.
The official was right there on the play. So
yes, he was. When I first looked at it, I could not tell. But on that replay, it looked like contact was made. And of course, the official is right on Johnny on the spot. He's got much better angle than what we've got.
Craig Marable, you may have seen him on the bench there. He was the injured Phoebus player that was helped off the field, and he is being attended to on the sideline. Let's hope it's not serious for the young man from Phoebus. And now a timeout has been called by the Crabbers. There you see Marable. He's got his right knee wrapped, so it's questionable as to whether he will return this evening. This is a big series for the Crabbers. They trail 16-7, a 9-point difference, and they only have 7 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The way Phoebus has controlled the ball, they've got to score. Hampton does got to score now. There you see the students and the band here at Phoebus. They are whooping it up, and they're enjoying every minute of this.
They can spell an upset, I'm sure.
I'm trying to remember what the standings of the competition is. I think it's only one time in 20 times that Phoebus has beaten the Crabbers. I believe the Crabbers have a 19-1 edge, but I could be wrong on that. 1st and 10. Brown throws end zone for Stein. It's incomplete.
Stein was a well-thrown ball, and Stein gave a good try for that ball.
Stein and Spencer were right there, but the ball went through the hands of John Stein. And it stops the clock with 7:01 remaining. Let's watch this one again. Brown sets up, has plenty of time, throws for Stein. It's just a little too tall for Stein, and he took a pretty good lick as he went down. 2nd down and 10 at the 24. Brown again wants to pass, throws for Stein. He's got him this time, and it will be close to, in fact, it will be a 1st down.
The catch is made over on the far sideline.
So
that's
Stein
a timing pattern, and that is a hard pattern to defense against.
Anthony Chapman on the
We see that on the replay. Brown steps back, he's got plenty of time. And Stein just went down and broke it outside, was wide open. Nice pass and catch, concentration. He knew he was going to get hit.
Gatling and Stein are the wide receivers. This time the handoff goes to Deshaun Merrill, and he gets just a couple. 6.5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Crabbers trailing by 9. The ball is marked at the 11-yard line. Here's your replay. Sean Merrill trying to follow Snow's blocking, but again, that pursuit from Phoebus is extremely quick.
They have some real good team speed out there.
2nd down and about 8. Flags are down. And that play looked like it might have been a busted play again.
And I'm not sure what happened. It looked like there may have been movement on the offense. And that's what the call is.
Illegal procedure charged against the Crabbers also.
You know, the way Hampton is playing in this game is reminiscent of the way they played against First Colonial last year in the regionals. It would seem that they are having the same problems that they had in that game.
An illegal motion on the offense, decline. 3rd down.
So the Phantoms, after a very short gain, if at all any gain, declined a penalty, make it 3rd down and still 8 for the Crabbers.
He declines the penalty. It'll be 3rd down, 8 for the Crabbers.
Inside of 6 minutes to go, the Phantoms show blitz. Brown is able to avoid one tackler, still scrambling, throwing for the corner of the end zone, and who's got it? Touchdown!
Wow, who was that?
That was 81 for the Crabbers, who came to the ball. That is Reggie Pittman, and he made the grab. An 11-yard pass play, and boy, I'm going to tell you something, Brown did a great job of avoiding a tackle.
Well, he was falling backwards when he threw the ball, Tim. I don't know how he got anything on the ball.
There you see the Hampton side, and one of the 2 times tonight they've had much to cheer about. Welch is on to try the extra point. It's long enough, and it's good. So again, our 3-point difference as the Crabbers have battled back. Excuse me, 2-point difference rather.
Here we watch a replay and watch the pressure that Brown gets. He really gets a lot of pressure and is falling backwards when he throws the ball.
Now watch what happens here. Is 81 Pittman comes back to the ball.
And he actually takes it away from the defender.
That was a Hail Mary of all sorts. And there you see the difference. A 2-point, that missed extra point try earlier by the Phantoms could come back to haunt them.
And we got roughing the kicker against the Phantoms on the extra point.
So don't go away, folks. 5:45 remaining. The difference now 2 points, and this is as good a game as we could have hoped for, Bob.
I tell you, I'm sure there's a lot of people here tonight on this sideline that was hoping this would happen and are very pleased, and there's a lot of stunned people on the other side that just can't believe that the Phantoms are playing as well as they're playing. But don't take anything away from Hampton. Hampton has come back from in the hole before, but this is a big penalty, Tim, because it's really going to put the Phantoms deep in their own end zone. I'm sorry, deep at their end of the field.
Makes you wonder if you might look for an onside kick too, you know.
That would not be a bad play from this point. But again, you want your defense to stop this potent running attack for Phantoms, and they took a timeout.
I don't know whether Bill D has taken a timeout to discuss the play. There you see.
Well, I was watching the official, Jack Whitley, and he called timeout and pointed towards the Phoebus side of the field.
Bill D having a word or two with the officials about the timeout call. And we have no way of knowing what he's saying, but
he's not happy about something, and he is making his point.
No, it's not.
I think he's arguing about the penalty. I'm not sure. And we're going to have the officials going to huddle here.
Mild-mannered Bill D maintaining a fair amount of his cool, considering the implications of this ball game. But now Jack Whitley is going to come back over and tell him something. I'm not sure what it was.
Well, it's not what he was happy about. And he is putting a front line up there that are all ball handlers, expecting the onside kick.
Well, you know, what the heck? If you're going to kick it from your opposing team's 45, the worst that you'll give up is about the 35-yard line. And the best you can hope for is recovering.
That's true.
So let's see if, in fact, Hampton does go for the onside kick. Phoebus certainly thinks they will.
Well, we watched the Bruins be successful with that last night.
There you see it. It's still up for grabs. Who's got it? Phoebus does.
It looks like Phoebus has got the ball. That was a good play.
It almost worked
nice
for the
call.
Crabbers. Almost worked. You know, the worst you've given up now is the ball's at the 25. You have to stop them anyway. So the defense now for the Crabbers will be tested with 5:33 and the clock moving. The Phantoms will start from their 25-yard line.
And now the Hampton has two opponents out there. The team has got the blue jerseys on and the scoreboard clock.
This is Chris Moore. Check that, the fake to Moore. Beckner still has the football and a first down. So Beckner doing a superb job of faking the handoff to Chris Moore and carrying all the way out to the 44-yard line. And as we get closer to the end of this game, you and I have a tough job, and that's to pick a player of the game for either side. Had some excellent effort on both sides of the field tonight. You know, you almost, for Phoebus, you almost have to wish you could give a shirt to the entire offensive line because they really dominated this ball game. First down at the 44-yard line. This time they do hand off to the fullback Moore, and he gets a yard at best. Clock continues to move, however, 4:37. Well, I guess we really have to take care of business at hand here. And,
well, that's
choice.
just, and it is my selection. Pick one.
Yeah, there's some tough choices to make.
Get Scotty to turn on my portable mic. I'll be going down on the sideline in just a minute.
And I'm leaning towards, as the Phantoms now cross midfield, leaning towards Beckner as the choice. I kind of agree with you on that. Ball is marked at just across midfield. So they've put it right on the midfield stripe. There you see at the 50. Here's your replay.
Yeah, you can see one person's not bringing down the ball carriers tonight.
Big third down for both teams. Third down and about 4. And Beckner flips it back to Turner. Turner's got the first down for the Phantoms. A big third down and 4. Maurice Turner got the pitch from Beckner and got the Phoebus first down, and 4 fresh downs with 3:26 remaining. Crabbers have just 2 timeouts remaining. And here you'll see this play again. Beckner does a great job of faking the handoff to Moore, and then just before he's hit, he flips it to Maurice Turner. Turner looking for the block, gets it, and then he just bowls over several Crabbers on his way to the first down. 3:04 remaining in the fourth quarter. Chris Moore stacked up at the 41-yard line. Now the Crabbers have to think about calling a timeout to reserve some time should they get the ball back. .245 and moving. 16-14. This crowd has been treated to a superb effort by both of these teams. The Phoebus defense has been great. The Hampton defense has hung tough, and the offense of the Phantoms has controlled the ball.
I tell you, the crowd is just unbelievable when I walk down through the Phoebus crowd.
Beckner is going to be sacked back at midfield.
Well, Tim, you're down to just about 2 minutes.
Crabbers are going to call a timeout, as you would have imagined they would. One of their 2 remaining timeouts with 2:14 remaining, and another big third down facing the Phoebus Phantoms. Here we get a chance to watch the replay, Bob. You'll have a little difficult time seeing it.
Well, I can't see it, but tell me, we picked Beckner as the player of the game for the Phantoms. Who'd we go with Hampton?
Well, it's a tough choice because there are several standouts. I'd have to go with your star choice there of Fred Brown, as he has done all he can to keep his team. And it's that touchdown pass to the end Pittman a while ago kept Hampton in the ball game, and Brown has done a good job, as of many of the Crabbers. But I have to go with you. We'll go with Brown, the quarterback from Hampton, and Beckner, the quarterback from the Phantoms.
I think that's a good choice on both sides. We got 3rd and 15, and of course Hampton would like nothing better than to stop them and try to get the ball back. But if they do stop them, Phoebus is going to take all the time off the clock they can, and then just punt the ball down here and make Hampton go at least 80 yards.
Well, of course, that raises the question. If you're the Phantoms, you need 15 yards. Do you chance throwing it and incompleting it and stopping the clock?
No, I don't think you do, Tim. I believe what you got to do is go what's got you here, and that is running the ball. It's going to run time off the clock, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on that Hampton offense if they do get the ball.
Of course, those of you watching who are familiar with NFL rules, there is no 2-minute warning in high school, so the clock will not stop at the 2-minute mark. So the only way it can stop is a dead ball play or a timeout. Turner got the first down! And a late flag.
We got a flag on the play. We got 2 flags on the play.
Well,
and it's a face mask is the call. And that's got to be almost the straw that's going to break the camel's back. You can hear this crowd, Tim. I can't hardly hear you.
I'm not saying anything.
Well, no wonder I didn't hear you.
What a great effort on the part of the Phantoms and Turner. You know, I'd almost want to give a co-player of the game award because it's tough not to give it to Turner with the afternoon or evening that he's had. Maurice Turner has come up with the big plays, but Beckner, the young quarterback, has been so instrumental in running this offense for the Phantoms. And Beckner is a senior, as is Turner. Turner, with that run, has gone over 100 yards on the evening.
Defense.
Face mask call against the Crabbers. So that moves the ball inside the 15 down to the 14. The clock is restarted with 2 minutes exactly. And the Crabbers with just one timeout left, trailing 16-14. Beckner gives to Chris Moore. Now, of course, the Crabbers will be trying to tackle the ball.
Tim?
Yes.
Moore took off that time like this was the first play of the ball game. They are really quick coming out of that backfield.
You know their adrenaline is way over the norm right now as the Phantoms looking to upset the Hampton Crabbers, and now the Crabbers have taken their last timeout. Or did Phoebus, in fact, call that timeout? I believe Phoebus did, actually.
Well, I don't know who took the timeout, but you got a minute 34, and Hampton's down by 2, and they don't have the ball. It does not look good if you're a Hampton fan, but it's looking better and better if you're a Phoebus fan.
Well, it took a moment for the scoreboard to register the timeout call, but in fact it was Hampton who called the timeout. I would have found it quite a miracle if Phoebus had, in fact, elected to make a timeout at this point. The huge crowd on hand for this game is now starting to file out, more so on the Hampton side of the stadium than the Phoebus side. The Phantom fans savoring the moment. The Crabber fans licking their wounds, unfortunately, for the Hampton team that's been ranked #1 since the fall of Woodrow Wilson High School. Now they're going to find themselves very likely tasting defeat, but let's not give it up yet. There's 34 seconds to go. And our next game will have the same Phoebus Phantoms against Bethel next Friday night right here. And then we have Kickintan and Phoebus after that, and Phoebus and Warwick after that. So the Phoebus fans are going to get a chance to see their team here on Channel 5 for the next 3 straight weeks. Again, Chris Moore gets the call. The Crabbers have no more timeouts. They cannot stop the clock, and it's going to be 3rd down. So the Phantoms, of course, as you said, Bob, will take all the time they can before they put this ball in play.
Well, I'm sure that's what Coach D told them to do, that they do not want to go up to the line of scrimmage too quick, run as much time off that clock as you can, and just execute just like you have been all game long. They have controlled that line of scrimmage the entire game, that being that offensive line.
Inside of a minute to go. Chris Moore down to the goal line. He's not in. He's down at the 1-yard line. But it'll be another first down for the Phantoms. And with 49 seconds remaining, you can call this one in the bag.
I tell you, Tim, there was a tremendous block. I did not get the number on that left-hand side, but Mr. Chris Moore is running very, very quick and with a lot of freshness. It's unbelievable. He's played a whole game.
30 seconds remaining. Beckner over center, takes it himself. Second effort, does he get in? Yes! Beckner's second touchdown of the ball game. And appropriately, he scores the final touchdown of this game.
Well, Tim, I'm going to sure try to get up with both Beckner and Coach D, but it's going to be hard. This is a wild, wild bunch down here, and they are just overjoyed.
Watch on the replay, you'll see the extra effort by Beckner. He stopped initially, but kept going and followed his left guard into the end zone for the touchdown.
Well, he was met at the line of scrimmage. I saw that, but it's, again, second effort.
The extra point is blocked, but that will be of no major consequence because the Phantoms lead by 8 points. And, of course, save for a kickoff return, and this game has had most everything in it. 5 minutes and 20 seconds is the amount of time the Phantoms took to score that touchdown, and they did it in 20. No, that can't be right. Not 20 plays.
Tim, if you're Bill D, what you're going to tell your team is to squib kick it or onside kick it or something. Do not give Hampton a chance to run this ball back, because Hampton cannot stand. They cannot stop the clock. And we got a lot of fans that are coming over the fence, and of course I hope they will stay away until this game is over.
And of course the Phoebus Phantom fans, relishing this apparent upset victory, need to go back on the other side of the fence so they can complete the game. The fans cannot come on the field until the game is over. John Jensen, who kicked a 37-yard field goal, has it teed up.
Would you please come to the press box for your film? Coach Joseph.
Both of these teams coming into this game undefeated at 4-0. 25 seconds remaining. The Phantoms do in fact kick it away to Cassels. And Cassels goes out of bounds at the 20-yard line, stopping the clock with 20 seconds remaining. Now, don't forget, there's a 2-point conversion in high school football, and Brown has a very strong arm and some good receivers, so anything is still possible.
Well, if you're Phoebus, what you're going to do, Tim, is you're going to give them the short, but you're not going to give them the long pass. Give them the short one, because there's no way they're going to move that ball down 80 yards in 20 seconds.
A prevent defense is, I'm sure, what we'll see from the Phantoms. They have 3 deep men standing 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. Brown pressured, throws for Stein. Stein's got it at the 41-yard line. And just 13 seconds remain. They will stop the clock. Well, let's see what they said.
The ball, it looks like it was a fumble, and Phoebus ended up with the ball.
Well, let's see exactly what the call is. The Phantoms do, in fact, have the ball. They have recovered the fumble with 12 seconds remaining in the ball game. Here's your replay. And the clock is started again. In fact, the Phoebus team does not have to run a play.
I wish you could see Bill D. He is just beside himself.
There you saw Stein fumble as he went down. I didn't see the ball come loose, but the Phoebus fans are storming the field to congratulate their victorious Phoebus Phantom team as they have pulled the upset of the season. The Phantoms undefeated. You might say, well, gee, both teams were undefeated, but the Phantoms had gotten no respect at all. Not a single point was given to them in the voting for the top 10 in the state. And they come in this game and basically they dominated the Hampton Crabbers, Bob. This was not a fluke win.
I'm going to try to give Bill D if I can, Coach, Tim.
Well, we invite you to stay tuned as we'll try and get a word or two with Coach D, if not Kevin Beckner or some of the victorious Phantoms, as the Phoebus High School Phantoms have upset the Hampton Crabbers 22-14. I'll tell you what we might do, Mr. Director, is pull out of here for a minute, let Bob find someone and come back. You want to do that?
I'm trying to get somebody and not get run over. But I can't see.
Bailey's right near you, Bob. He's over to your left. Thomas Bailey, number 6. He's about 5 yards away from you, Bob. Over to your left. Tom Bailey, number 6.
Go ahead and change tape.
All right, we'll return with some post-game activities after this brief timeout. There's Bailey right there in front of you, Bob. We're back, and Bob, I understand you're down in the field. I'm not sure where you are at this point, but I know you're looking for some people.
Well, I see Coach D.
Well, while you're looking for him, let me run down some final stats of the game. The Crabbers had 7 first downs, while the Phoebus Phantoms had 16. 1 rushing for the Crabbers, 5 passing, and 1 penalty.
Tim, I got.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Bob.
I got Coach D here. As soon as he gets done getting congratulated.
232 yards rushing for the Phantoms tonight, just 46 for the Crabbers.
To say that Bill D is excited is a understatement. Bill, congratulations. You guys just owned that line of scrimmage the whole game.
Well, the kids just believe in themselves, you know. We just told them to play our kind of football, and we could beat them. I mean, the kids believed it, and that's what we did.
Well, Scotty asked me to ask you about your lucky charm.
Well, the thing around my neck?
Yeah.
Hey, I speak to God anywhere I can. Really, with God, you know, these kids, we got a lot of kids that believe in themselves. That comes from good, strong faith, and kids just played a great football game. I'll tell you what, we had chances to fold. Thanks, Doc. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate what you're saying.
Damn good job.
I appreciate it, Coach. Thank you. But, you know, the kids had a chance to fold, and they didn't.
Yeah, that's the main point is they never gave up at all, even after that big play. And I know you had talked about holding Hampton, letting them get the big play.
Yeah, we were determined we were gonna have to face some adversity and win the football game. That we weren't gonna let anything get us down. That we were not gonna be denied.
Well, Bill, it was hard for us to pick a player of the game. We picked Kevin Beckner. He seemed to be reading. His reads were just awesome.
He made that triple option, and I'll tell you what, we had a third and about 15. I mean, he just read it, and it was. But I'll tell you what, everybody played their role. We asked them to play their role, and they did what we asked them.
Well, listen, congratulations. That's a big win.
Thank you.
Tim, let's go back up to you.
All right, and I echo those words as our congratulations to Bill D, head coach of the Phoebus Phantoms, as they have upset the #1 ranked Hampton Crabbers 22-14. The final stats real quickly is, Bob, I imagine you're going to try and find a player or two to talk with if you can. 232 yards rushing for Phoebus, 46 for Hampton. 51 rushing plays for the Phantoms, only 20 for the
Tim?
Yes, Bob.
I got, let me talk to Mike Tyndall a second here.
Sure.
The reason I'm going to talk to Mike is because Mike got the triple option when he was over at Bethel High School with Coach Kaz. And Beckner read that option tonight,
He ran to perfection. He ran to perfection.
I tell you, you guys doing a great job over there, and this is making a believer out of a lot of people.
Well, maybe we'll get a little respect now.
I think so. Congratulations, Mike.
Good seeing you.
Tim, let's go back up to you.
All right, and I didn't have any idea when I coined that phrase earlier that the Phantoms were the Rodney Dangerfields, how true this would ring out in the end. It would just happen to be something that came to mind, and it was very appropriate because the Phantoms had not gotten any respect, at least in any of the polls, but they'll certainly have respect now as they have upset the #1 Hampton Crabbers 22-14. The statistics bear out the fact that the Phantoms just totally dominated the Crabbers tonight. They ended up with a total of 225 yards rushing, 38 net yards for the Crabbers, 102 passing for Hampton, none for the Phantoms. They never tried to pass. They didn't have to pass. They were able to run the ball. Give credit to that offensive line of Phoebus because they did, in fact, dominate the line of scrimmage, and I think that was really the story of this ball game in the long run. Take nothing away from the superb execution on the part of Kevin Beckner because he did a great job doing that.
Well, Tim, I have to echo that. I think what really happened is what Coach D said, that everybody played their position. Everybody did what was asked of them, and you could tell that it was a team effort out there tonight.
All right, we're going to just about wrap it up here. Bob, I was hoping you might have an opportunity to find the quarterback, Beckner, or one of the players. I'm not even sure where you are now.
I'm headed towards you.
Okay, we're going to give it up then. Give up the ghost. Well, that's going to do it. An exciting ball game, a terrific ball game from the standpoint of the Phoebus Phantoms. Of course, if you're a Hampton Crabber fan, you have to be deeply saddened by the fact that your team lost, but they lost to a good Phoebus High School team. The final score again, the Phantoms of Phoebus 22, the Hampton Crabbers 14. For Bob Hintz and the entire crew, this is Tim Cole. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.
morning. I'm Karen Schaffner, your announcer for Channel 5's halftime show featuring the Phoebus High School Marching Phantoms. Al Morris, band director, Kanisa Holder, and Dale Richardson, drum majors. The band will feature the following selections: I Used to Love Her, But It's All Over Now, Hold On, a dance routine, PHS Formation, the Kilowatt Dance, and the fight song, League.
joined by the outstanding Phoebus High School cheerleaders, we perform a dance routine with the music of the top recording group in Vogue and their big hit song, Hold Up. our band as we present our PHS formation and the Phoebus High School face-off.
Thank you for watching our halftime show featuring the Phoebus High School Marching Phantoms.